Okay, so again, Microsoft Teams is part of Office 365, and Microsoft Teams is essentially a hub where you can create groups. Essentially that's what a team is. It's just creating a group within Office that you can invite people in, or you can add them as users. And so everything that you do in Microsoft Teams is automatically shared within that team site. So you don't have to, I don't know how familiar you all are with like OneDrive and storing your documents and using your documents in there. But like if you have anything in OneDrive, typically you have to share that document with somebody else in order for them to see that document and collaborate with it. But in Teams, once you put everything, your files and whatever you need in the Files tab, everything is immediately shared with the users in that team site. So I guess that's my best explanation on Teams. Moving forward. So since it's the Office 365 product, you can log into Teams using office.com. Or you can, there's also the desktop application that you can download and then log into Teams also. And then all you have to do is just use your Rush username and password to log in. And essentially it looks like this. So what the screen will look like is if you don't have the Windows app, you can just download the Teams window app, or you can use it on your browser as well. So either way, they look identical. There's no difference in what you see or how you use it. It's just a matter of preference of how you want to access it. Okay, so again, like I said, Teams is where you collaborate and share. And then within Teams, you create what's called a channel. And there's different types of channels that you can create. There's standard channels, which every team site has, which is actually your generals channel right here. Everyone on your team site has access to that general channel. You can create private channels. For instance, I created a faculty resources channel right here, and that's only available to, and I'll show you right here. If you click on the three dots, it opens up a menu, and then you can add members here, or you can manage the channel. And in here, it tells you who the members are. So I have myself and Matt in this faculty resources channel, and only us two have access to it. Now, if I go back in here and I click on those three dots and I click manage channel, it usually tells you who's on here. Well, that is all your users. Well, let's say, for instance, I did this study group channel. I created one here, and you go to manage channel, and that one should tell you who's in there. It's not working, but I think you guys get the idea of it. So for instance, again, there it is. Well, that's the faculty resources one, but I think you guys pretty much get the idea of what this looks like. So when you do create a team, you go up into this little tab right here. And I just want to make a quick note. Anything that you see here in this navigation bar, that is for your user use only. No one else has access to this toolbar here. This is just for your individual use. But for instance, like if you click on Teams, anything pretty much here is the whole group user. And anyone that's in this, like for instance, team site, you can share and post files and all of that. Also, if you click on here, this is where you see all of your chats for all of your team sites. And also you can create video calls in here too. That's general to your users that you have specified. Okay, so if I go into Teams, Again, I click one more time. So you can see there's the teams that you are enrolled in. And if you want to create one, you just go into this little button here. It says join or create a team. And once you do that, it'll prompt you to select 4 different types of teams on here. And for this one, I selected the class team because, again, like I said, the user roles and permissions are a little bit different than the professional learning community, the staff, and other team site that you create on here. And I will share this document with everybody, but this also gives you a good visual on the different roles and descriptions within teams once you create them. And I also wanted to note that depending on what role you have, there's different permissions. Team owners pretty much manage and can do whatever they want in the team site, and they are the only ones that can delete a team site. And then you have members who have generally the same permissions as owners. Again, depending on which type of team site you create. If you create a class, the member role permissions are a little bit different. And then you have your guest roles who have very limited capabilities within your team site. Okay, and then here's another little handy dandy chart that I have, and it gives you an idea of what the permissions are. And as you can see, the owner has many more permissions available versus members and guests on here. Okay, so then there's different ways that you can add members to your team. So for instance, if I go into my beta class team site, I can go in here in these 3 little dots and I can add members. And Teams is very responsive to all the Rush users. So all you have to do is, start typing in a name. And then just by typing in the first 3 letters, it picks up names of all the individuals who have those 3 letters in their name. So I can just kind of scroll down, and I'm pretty sure I already have Peg in here, but I'm going to add her in here. And then again, I want to point out, since I have a classroom team site, the roles are either assigned as teachers or students. So in this case, I'm enrolling her as a student. And it tells you that she already exists in here, but let's say I want to enroll her in as a student or teacher. Now it's going to change her permission roles. Well, I guess not. Sorry. I'm going to have to change her roles up here in manage team. And then here also tells you who the pending requests are for people that you invited to your team. I'm going to show you how that works in just a second. Okay, so if you were to, the easiest way, rather than adding a member individually to your team site, is if you grab the link to the team site, copy that link, and either post it in your Blackboard course for your students, or you can also paste that link in an email and let your students know that they can click on that link and they'll get access to Teams. But you will have to approve or decline their request. So you will automatically get a notification from Microsoft Teams letting you know that, for instance, Lynette Washington wants to join your classroom team. So you go ahead in there, and once you click approve or decline, it'll take you right into Team site, and then it'll take you into pending requests. And then all you have to do is click and click, or you can accept all at once, either one. So that is actually the easiest way for you to add members to your team site. Okay, so again, teams and channels. There is a distinction. Teams is basically your overall hub for your group, and then channels is where you actually do all of your activity within that team site. And then for instance, here in the general one, you can have conversations with people. You can post files. And then I've added a class notebook here. And specific to the class team site, you have an assignments tab and a grades tab here too. Now, since we have an LMS, I really wouldn't use the assignments tab or grades tab, because once you create an assignment, it'll automatically look for a grade, look for you to grade the assignment in this tab right here. So I would, if you're going to use Microsoft Teams for your class, I would keep it at post files and class notebooks. Okay, so for instance, each of these channels, again, has their own tabs. If you go to study group channel that I created in here, they each have their own tabs that are specific to that channel. Okay, so let me scroll down here. And what's really great about using Microsoft Teams is that everything is real time. So for instance, if I want to start a new conversation, if you tag people in this conversation, so I'm going to tag Matt here. Okay, so I'm asking him if he got a chance to look at the document I added to the file. Okay, so if Matt would be so kind and reply, if he's in Teams, then you can get an idea of what that looks like. So this also, when you tag somebody like this, it also sends them an email notification letting them know that Matt has tagged you in a team conversation. Okay, so if you also look on here, so there's Matt's instant reply. So it's a great way, it's almost identical to instant messaging on your phone. So also on here, if you notice that there is a toolbar, you can format your replies or your messages. Your typical, editing tools, bold, you can do bullet points, indentations, and so forth. You can also attach files on here. So for instance, if I go to Teams, and I'm going to go into this folder, and I'm going to grab this file and then share the link, it'll share that link right in here. So when they click on it, it'll take them directly into that Files tab where that document is located. And if whichever way you access a document in Office anywhere. So if you have a OneDrive, so for instance, here I have this is a OneDrive file. It's in faculty resources, but if I go in here, so this one I actually shared from my OneDrive file. So if I were to go into OneDrive and make any edits to that file, it will automatically make those changes in this file that's located here. So from your OneDrive file to your file that you included here in Teams, it will automatically make those edits for you. So you don't have to keep going back and forth and reattaching and deleting documents in here. Okay, I'm gonna go back in here. So again, this toolbar, you can add emojis, you can add little gift images, stickers. You can also do immediate meetings. So from here, you can also do meetings directly in Teams. Since I don't have my video on, it should work. Okay. And then it has the same tools that you would find in like Zoom and WebEx. You can share content in here, and then there's additional actions, and then you can also have those little like hand bars and all of that you see. And then you can do little chats within there as well. And then it tells you who the people are in your team site and who you'd like to invite. And then you just can hang up on them and leave your meeting. So using Teams is very handy because, like I said, everything that you do is within Teams. You can create meetings, conversations, collaborate. Everything is in one hub. Okay, so we went through here. And again, so if you want to, let me go through files now and show you how to share and save files. Okay, so since this is a classroom team site, it will automatically create this class materials folder, and it is a read-only folder. And if you click on it, it'll tell you that anything you put in here is read-only for your students. So this is a great place for you to upload any documents for them to read, additional resources, anything that might come in handy in their class. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and show you the other file folder. So this is another one that I created, and here students can have editing access to any documents that is placed in here. And then, for instance, if my team would be so gracious, if they're logged into Teams, go ahead and start collaborating on this document. And it's a real-time document, so you can have pretty much all of your students, or if you create groups within Teams, they can collaborate in real time on the document. And typically you will also see who the users are. Okay, so anytime you want to go backwards, you just click on Teams and it'll take you back where you were the last time you left it. Okay, I'm going to go back to this document in a second. Hopefully my team is going to get logged in and can start collaborating on that team document. Okay. All right, so in here, in your Files tab, you can also create new documents. You can create new folders, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, notebooks, and forms. I will note that if you're going to create something directly in Office 365, for instance, a Word document, the editing tool is not as robust as your Word document application on your computer. It's kind of limited to what you can do as far as like formatting, but it gives you the general necessities of, creating your Word document. Okay, so again, this is where you create new documents. You can upload documents from either your files or you can upload folders on here as well. You can copy links onto this folder and you can download any of these documents that you want onto your computer. Okay, so that is pretty much my whole presentation here. Other than what I did want to note is that, this is not where we have our LMS. So what you want to do in Teams for your classroom is make it a site where they can come together as a class. So for instance, since everybody is learning virtually right now, this is pretty much, you can set up your classroom, your live classroom in this team site where students can, you can create groups for them. So for instance, if you wanted to create groups, you can go in here and you can add a channel. And let's call that group one. And then you can also control the privacy of that group. So this is where you can limit your access of the users in this group. So for instance, this is accessible to everyone, or you can make it private, which you would do for this group. And then if you click next, it's going to prompt you to add the users to that group. So here we go. So I'm going to add Angela because she's not in this group. So again, right here, it flags me saying that Angela is not a member of the team. So I can't add her into this channel. I need to go into, let it refresh for a minute. So in those three little dots, this is where I have to add her first as a member, and then I can include her in a channel. So all those little features are really nice in Office 365. It'll flag you if something isn't quite right within the team site. So here we have group one. It's a private group. And so anybody in group one, you can have, they can go in here and they can post files. They can have their own little chats. They can get together and meet and collaborate on a group project. So here also I created this study group channel, which I think is another great way for you to use Teams in your classroom. So in here, they can come in and they can collaborate and study together essentially in real time. So they can, create messages with each other. They can share files. In here, the notes is actually the study group notes that I created. The same thing. So they can have a study group notebook, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I put in a little message here, letting them know this is where they can come together and study. If you click on that little like bookshelf, that is where you can add pages. So for instance, I have that little note, and here you can have, week one. So students can actually, create these pages for themselves. And they can go in here and create week one notes. And then, like I said, they can work and collaborate together. Let me go back here. Let me go back to the notebook. Sorry, I apologize for this. There is a page button and I don't see it. I think my computer is lagging here. There's a bit of a lag. But you can also create different sections within the notebook. And it's not letting me do that. It's usually down towards the bottom here and it says add a section. But so students can create their own tabs within the notebook. And then within those tabs, they can have different pages within that section of the notebook. So if you wanted to add that notebook, this is where you would add it. Now, a little word of caution here on these different applications. A lot of these, especially when you scroll down here, are not available. Cybersecurity has blocked them from any of the users adding it to a tab site. But if by chance there is something that you want to be included in your team site, for instance, I had Flipgrid added in here. So I had asked our cybersecurity team if they could add Flipgrid. And Flipgrid is one of those applications that you can add on here. And I'm gonna just add it just so you can see what it looks like. I have to create an account here or log in. I actually have an account, so you just log in to that application. But that one let me add it, but let me show you what it looks like for applications that it won't let you add. So for instance, if I want to add B-Note on here, it's going to block me, saying that I don't have permission. And I apologize for the lag. Okay, let's try another one. So for instance, I know this one's blocked. I tried adding it. Okay, well, I'm sorry, it's not working for me today. Okay, so this is basically the whole idea of Microsoft Office Teams for your classroom site. Do we have any questions from anybody?
Hey, Brianka.
Yes.
This is Diane. I'll let you know that I have used the notes here for a class and did the weeks and the pages, and it has worked. It has worked well because you can also put pictures in their audio, and it has really worked well. So thank you.
Thanks, Diane. I'm glad it worked out. And students nowadays are pretty tech savvy, and they like to collaborate in real time. So let me go to the class notebook. So they especially find these notebooks very handy. And like I said, if you create one, a study group channel, you let them know this is your study group channel. You can go in there and you can collaborate, you can study together, you can share notes, you can do whatever you choose in this class study group channel. And then, like I said, I created the notebook specifically for them so they can add in um, any type of notes that they want to share with the rest of their class. It's just that I'm so sorry my computer is lagging. But yeah, so like for instance, I typed in this little message for them. If you want, you can go ahead and insert pictures from either your file or if from your camera or online. But typically you want to do it from your file, and you just go ahead and choose it. It'll find documents for you. So let's say I want to go in my pictures, and I'm going to choose that one. And I'm going to click open. And it's still working. But I think you all get the general idea. It's just, let's try again. Okay, there we go. Now it inserted that picture in here. So it's a great use if they have any diagrams that they want to share, anatomy pictures, whatever it is, they can definitely put all of that in their class notebook and study together. Anybody else have any questions? Or any features or anything that you want me to show you? Everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, hi, Bronca. This is Chris Ferrigno. I have a question. I know students like to use their phone more than their laptop nowadays.
Good question. I know where
How
you're
does
going.
this work on a phone?
Oh my God, it's fantastic. So I actually have the Microsoft Teams application on my phone, and you can also download it on any device, on any tablet, any smartphone. So and it works on iOS, and it works through you can download it on your Android phone too, and it's fantastic. I'm going to stop sharing and actually show you my, let me turn my camera on and prop up my phone so you can, well, let me turn my background off. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try. It's not going to work. Hold on. Alrighty, 1 second. Let me take my video background off. Alrighty, none. There we go. Sorry, my computer is really slow today. Okay, so there's my phone. I have it on my phone. Let me go to all my applications. Oh, there we go. So there's my team site. Let me see if I can find it. There's my team site, and there's my OneDrive on my phone. So all I have to do is that when I click on it, it'll make you sign in. So you just use your single sign-on username and password. So right here again, you sign in and you have access to everything on your OneDrive or your team site directly on your mobile device. And you can also do, if you're in here and you want to create office hours, you can actually use the Microsoft Teams site and go ahead and do, office hours video conference with your class. And you can also do it on your device too. So if you're not at your computer, you can go ahead and do exactly the same thing that you would on your computer on your mobile device. So there's really not much of a difference. So, the great thing about using any of the Microsoft Office products, especially Teams, is that you have access on demand anytime, anywhere, any place. So even if you're visiting, your sister out in California and you forgot your laptop, let's say, you can use any computer and log into Office.com and access all of your files, your team site. You can have conversations, you can meet in real time anywhere. So again, it's a great, I think especially with students, that's the type of learning that they enjoy and they like and they're accustomed to, is just being able to grab any device and going in and checking out what's going on. Okay, so does this duplicate functionality of our core sites in Blackboard and eventually Cap? Well, not really. So your learning management system is your learning management system. That's where all of your content should reside, your lessons. That's where students should be doing their learning. Your team site is where they can do their collaboration in real time. So you can create groups in Canvas and Blackboard as well, but it doesn't quite have that real-time functionality as your team site does. And within your team site, again, like I said, everything is here let me share my screen. So everything in that like I said, is within that team site. They can meet, they can have conversations, they can share files, they can work on files together in real time in one site. So for instance, with Blackboard and Canvas, you kind of have to go into like Zoom and then log in and be sure you're logged in there to do your meetings. So let's say they're not in Blackboard or Canvas at the moment, but they know that they want to go ahead and study with their classmates. They can just go into Teams and study and chat and share whatever they want. I hope that explained. Did that explain it for you?
Yeah, it does. Thanks. I had another question too. I've been interested in using Teams and starting to kind of play around with it, but haven't used it in any of my classes yet, and wanted to use it for some faculty committee groups, but had some vocal opponents to it because they didn't want to learn a new thing. But I have a group, another project where I'm collaborating with some people who are outside the university, and it seems that Rush's version of Teams won't allow us to add people outside of Rush to our teams, which then makes it difficult to use for research collaborations and things like that, where we may have collaborators outside of Rush. Is there any way to change that or to address that? I asked IT and all I heard back were crickets.
Unfortunately, yes. They kind of really crack down on who's outside of Rush, who's allowed to share and use the like team site and the OneDrive, like your SharePoint is basically, it gets moved over to SharePoint. So you can share a document outside of Rush, but it does limit you to 5 days, I believe, 5 or 7 days, and then it'll cut them off. We don't have any say in that. That's not something we can control. That is an IT decision and control. Yeah, unfortunately, it would be nice if there was a way that they can allow outside users to collaborate in teams, but again, that's not within our realm. I mean, I guess you'd have to kind of send out an email to them and plead your case.
Yeah, I know how effective that is. Okay, but I figured I would ask since I actually now have a chance to talk to somebody at Rush who knows something about Teams, which I haven't been able to do yet. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I did also, since I have my screen share up, if you have any tech support or any types of questions like that, I would definitely reach out to tech support at help@rush.edu, or you can give them a call. Any design support that you have, definitely you can reach out to us. We can definitely help you. If, like, for instance, Diane, reached out and was like, can you show me how to use Teams for my classroom? What can I do with the team site within my classroom? So this is where we got the idea of using that class notebook for her class. And I'm glad to hear that it worked out really well for them. So do we have any other questions from anybody or anything that you want me to show you while I'm in here? You can feel free. So again, and I just wanted to point out, this is a classroom, so it's a little bit different from if you were to create a team site for, let's say, administrative purposes. Those have, the permissions work a little bit differently on that. And you also, in this general channel, it doesn't create that class materials file where it's read only. It's pretty much anybody in there can collaborate and share documents and chats and all of that. So again, and like I said, the nice feature is anything that you do in here, you tag somebody, that person will get immediate notification letting them know that, Lynette, made a comment in, Beta Classroom team site. So then you can quickly go in there. You can also set those notifications up in this, these three little dots, and you go to channel notifications. That's just going to be for this channel here. And then you go to manage channel. I don't know why that is just not looking the way it's supposed to for me, but anyway, let's go here to manage team. And then you can go into settings. And then here, this is where you can, set your member permissions, your guest permissions. This team code, I'm going to note, does not work yet. And I've tried to research it. And I did find that right now, they're not using that team code. So typically, if you share this team code, all you have to do is click on that team code and have access. So they've kind of put a stop to that and won't allow it on here. So like, for instance, here's member permissions. And this allows you to set what type of permission you're giving your users within your team. also. So, feel free if you want to create a team site. Like I said, you just go into here, you'll see this little button, join or create a team. I believe I created this test team site for Diane. So she goes in there and she can just kind of test out any ideas that she has with a team site. So, alrighty, any questions or anything before we go? Okay, so I want to thank you all for coming today. And if you do have any questions, sometimes we just, those questions come to us after, we're in a workshop or meeting, but feel free to reach out to us again at city@rush.edu. If you, have some ideas in your head that you want to start using Microsoft Teams, we can definitely, brainstorm some ideas for you. And again, if you have any tech support, please reach out to help@rush.edu. And I will share this quick startup guide with everyone that was in this meeting. And then feel free to share with your colleagues this document as well. That's going to help them. And then we'll have this recording on our YouTube channel so that you can kind of, work through this document and also watch the video at the same time. Okay, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Priyanka. Okay.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay.